Hello everyone, how's it going? It's me, Crendor, back for another Fishing with Crendor. Oh, what episode are we on? I forgot. Hold on, Fishing with Crendor. Don't worry, I'm professional here.
Came prepared.
Came prepared. 47? We're on 48. Episode 48. With Force. You may have heard of him from the internet, YouTube, Overwatch, Force Strategy Gaming.
Oh, please don't.
We're just playing PUBG, a whole bunch of stuff. How you doing, Force?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for traumatizing me by reminding me of my Overwatch days. Appreciate it.
No problem. Well, those are like your biggest days, weren't they?
They were big days. It's just, I would say I was not happy with what I was doing, because I was just, let me just say I was fully aboard the hype train. Yeah. Like, I liked the game, but I definitely overdid it with the amount of content I made about Overwatch. There's no denying that.
I think you went full Force clickbait gaming. Yeah,
I'll try to avoid. Well, I won't avoid. Okay, I can't say that. I won't avoid clickbait.
What?
But I will. I'm going to avoid. I'm going to avoid pigeonholing my YouTube channel in the future. I think that's for the best. So.
Well, I think clickbait actually gets like a bad rap because like everybody has to clickbait on YouTube.
It's
like,
how you get people to click.
Yeah.
Literally, like. So here's my thoughts on clickbait. Like. Clickbait, like those websites, like 10 things doctors don't want you to know or something, that's bullshit, because usually it's not anything real.
Yeah.
Like, the content sucks. With that clickbait pissed me off. But if I see a good clickbait title and thumbnail, and I click on it, and the content is good, I'm totally satisfied.
Yeah. I think
so,
it's
like,
about not lying, right?
Yeah. Well, so not lying with the title and the thumbnail, getting people to click on your stuff, and then, like, having good content behind it. I think that's a package that's beautiful. And I appreciate it as a viewer of stuff. So that's the kind of thing that I would be totally satisfied with doing. I still try to. I mean, my last WoW video was, I would say, clickbaity. I would say the thumbnail.
Let's see. What did you call it? Force. I never knew how to like spell your name. I'm like Force SC2 Gaming. Is it Force Strategy Gaming?
You can just search Force Gaming. I don't even know what my YouTube URL. I think it's Force. Everyone. YouTube.com/Force Gaming YT. I couldn't get just Force Gaming. I can't get just Force. It's terrible branding. Way too generic of a word that I picked. So what are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, I see. So you've got like the.
Yeah,
everyone was wrong about Classic WoW.
Exactly.
So,
and but it's a good video. It's a good video, so it's totally it works.
That's the thing is like I remember back in the day I made my unreleased Cataclysm trailer, which is like in itself a very clickbaity title, right? You're like unreleased. Why did Blizzard not release this? And then you listen to it, and it's like just me being like Crendor.
Oh my god! You must. So there's got to be a sizable portion of dislikes on that video, right?
There's a decent amount. Yes.
Yeah, but it's totally fine because if it's a good video and people liked it, it's whatever.
Well, it's also back in the day, like before YouTube became oversaturated as much. So like I sat at the top of like if you search Cataclysm trailer, I was at the top. So a lot of people found me because of that. So in a way, clickbait helped get me here. You know, I think it's bad if, like you said, where you're just like crazy stuff. You don't want to, like, whatever. Then you click on it, and it's just like some guy being like, all right, welcome. You know, like there's nothing crazy about it. And the thing isn't actually that crazy. But like if it's.
All right.
You know.
The worst. I just hate it so much. Sometimes I click on these YouTube videos that are like massive holes in the earth you won't believe. And like there's a thumbnail of this like city-sized hole.
Oh yeah.
And it's not in the video. I'm so angry because I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I hate that when they put things that aren't actually in the video in the thumbnail. Like that is frustrating.
There's some like some video with like a shark riding a giant wave behind a surfer or something, and you're like, I gotta see that. Not there though.
Yeah, or that was a big thing with the pranks, like top 20 pranks gone wrong, gone crazy, gone, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So either
It's
way,
just like one really stupid prank. All right. Well,
I haven't actually let you introduce yourself and what you do, so we should probably do that before we continue.
All right. Yeah, I'm Force. There's a good chance you've heard of me if you follow Crendor stuff because
Yeah.
not there's a good chance you heard of me just because, but we've done some collaborative stuff in the past. So
Yeah.
if you know some of Crendor stuff, you might have heard or seen some of my stuff. I make. What do I make nowadays? I don't. I do some news. I just kind of make videos about whatever I'm interested in nowadays. I think for my YouTube history is really weird.
Well,
I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
So I remember you started back when I was making videos. Like you're pretty old school.
I think you were a little bit older than me, right? By like a year.
Yeah.
I was August 2010 is when I started.
Yeah, it was January 09. It's like a little over a year.
Yeah. So I started in the summer 2010 because StarCraft 2 was coming out, and I liked the game, and I was watching some stuff. I was watching some of the old school, like HD StarCraft and Husky StarCraft, and prior to that, I watched some of Total Biscuit stuff, and I've been thinking about him a lot lately. I know it's like I can't. It's tough, man. I had a talk. I went to a event recently, and I ended up meeting up with some other YouTubers and just talking with them a bit about TB, and it's just so crazy. It's just crazy, man. It's so sad. I miss him so much. And one thing I told them was that I feel like YouTube's just not the same anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Feels so different, and that's probably just a personal thing because, like, the point of what I was saying was that he was one of my inspirations for starting.
Yeah.
And like back in the StarCraft time, I watched some of his stuff. I used to listen to some of like his WoW videos because I was still obsessed with WoW back then, and WTF is so. Just got inspired by a bunch of YouTubers, and I just started with my StarCraft stuff, and then it kind of just went from there. Just followed my interests to Diablo and just general gaming, but yeah, it's kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that with all the YouTube stuff. I mean, with TB even, like, what was it? I think he did Blue Please, which was like his WoW thing. That's how I found out about him, was like doing Blue Please, and so
that was Cataclysm, right?
That was no, that was like Classic WoW. That was his like old school Classic WoW podcast on WoW Radio. And so he had that. He got, pretty big with that, but not like huge. And then Cataclysm hit with all the beta stuff on YouTube, and that's when he really he started doing that, and Jesse started doing his Cataclysm beta stuff, and then I was trying to do all my Machinima Cataclysm stuff. So it was just, that was like the prime WoW YouTube hour.
Yeah. Except for now, it seems.
Yeah, well,
it's like a WoW renaissance nowadays. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, well, at the time that was the big point. So that was that was the way I kind of got to know all them too. Was just through all that.
But yeah, sorry, I know that was kind of all over the place. It got derailed there a little bit, but that it's just the truth is I can't not bring him up with that. Like, he was totally a huge inspiration for how I started my whole YouTube stuff, and it's been interesting. That's probably like a whole nother conversation. But God, I really miss him. It hits me a couple times a month, I would say. Especially recently, I've been playing some games that I know we would have played together.
Yeah,
we played a lot of the first Division together. So playing Division 2, I just couldn't help myself, you know what I mean? And I revisited Warframe recently, so stuff like that. But yeah, that alone could be an entire podcast.
Yeah,
I'll just say I miss him.
We can bring it up a little bit later.
Yeah, sure.
But let's say I know. I remember you doing Diablo. I remember you doing a lot of Diablo stuff.
Right. So yeah, I started in 2010 with the StarCraft stuff, and then I did that for like a year, and then I started getting really excited for Diablo 3 because I played a lot of Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, and and I was covering that game a bunch. And then after that came out, I ended up really not playing it that much. And then I just kind of just started doing some general coverage. Like I was like, all right, well, let me just cover a bunch of different games. Just whatever I'm interested in, indie games or whatever. So that like the first 3 years was basically StarCraft and Diablo, and then it was just like a random assortment of games. That's when I started kind of my news thing, the force feed. And then I had various like phases where I played a lot of 1 or 2 games like Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm, and then I had that big phase of Overwatch that lasted like a year and a half or 2 years. And after that, I think I had like a realization. I feel like for the first 8 or so years of my doing YouTube, I would just I'd play games that I want to play, and then I'd just make whatever kind of content I could think of about those games. Because I was like, hey, I'm playing this anyways, might as well make videos, right? I think recently, after like nearly 5,000 videos, I've started to feel like if I'm gonna put a video on YouTube, I don't want it to just be anything about a game that I'm playing. Like, what's a good example? So, like, all the Overwatch stuff. Every day, because people were watching it, every day I would just find a topic to talk about. And a lot of times it would just be, was there a patch today? Did Blizzard release some information about things they're changing or plans they have? What's a popular community topic on the forums? And I was basically just like looking for something to talk about for 5 or 10 minutes. And then that would be a video. I just have no desire to do that anymore. And like, there's definitely something to be said about like being a mono game channel. There's a lot of like, you look at like Fortnite, right?
Right.
There's all these channels out there that prior to Fortnite coming out, they were doing all sorts of stuff, but it didn't take long for people to realize if I just cover Fortnite, we've got these millions and millions of Fortnite fans who just want to watch this game. So if I only cover this game, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, it's like a snowball
Minecraft
effect.
was another one.
Oh yeah, Minecraft, Call of Duty. There was a handful of, again, like Overwatch channels. There's a bunch of StarCraft. I mean, you could probably point to any sizable video game and you will find some fairly successful, like dedicated channels out there that basically just cover that game.
Aren't you Wowcrendor?
Yeah, well, exactly. And I'm Force SC2 strategy. Like, and I think, like, I know at least I would assume it's for you is the case as well. Like, when I started, I was just like, hey, I'm just going to make some YouTube videos about StarCraft. I'll put StarCraft in the name. Like, it wasn't like, you got to brand yourself properly for the next 20 years. Then like, I was not thinking about that. I think nowadays people starting YouTube channels are much more along those lines. At least many people.
Well, it's more people get into it now as like an actual business thing. Well, I think back when we did it, it was more of like a hobby type of thing. So it's like I wanted the name Crendor, but somebody had it. So it's like, I guess I'll just throw WoW in front of it.
Is that just like a name you put together, or is there an origin to Crendor?
That's my actual priest name in Vanilla WoW.
Okay.
And I just kind of randomly generated it. I think it generated like Krendor or something. I just swapped it to a C. It was like one of those types of things. I was like, that sounds good. I never thought like, man, this is what people call me all the time in 10 years.
I know. It's so weird. It is so. It's still like it catches me by surprise if I'm at a convention or something and somebody says verbally out loud says the name Force. I'm just like, fuck was I thinking? Such dumb.
Force.
It's like I just sound like such a tryhard, which is probably partially true. But
yeah, I mean, at least with like my thing, like Crendor, that's still like my in-game kind of alias, so I don't think it's like as weird. While with you, it's just Force. Like that's that's an action you take to, I'm using Force.
The reason it ended up being what I had, it's because that was the alias or the name that I had in my StarCraft account. And the reason it was because it was around that time, I was like 22 or 23, I was considering joining the Air Force. Like, that summer, I was like, I was going to school part-time. I was bartending full-time. You know, I'd been, in addition to school, I'd been serving and bartending for like 5 years. And like, I was going for school, but I was like, I'm not sure what I want to do with this degree, even if I get it. So I was just kind of, I was at a turning point, I guess. I was trying to decide what I want to do. That same summer, I started up like my own landscaping company, which is not, it's just me having a lawnmower and be like, hey, you want me to mow your lawn for $50? Like,
you're just trying anything.
Yeah, I was trying all sorts of stuff. I was thinking about different routes that I could take, and then the beta came out, and I made those videos, and then bless their hearts, love them and hate them, Machinima says, hey, we can pay you for these videos. I'm like, okay, a perpetual lifetime contract sounds good.
Yep, I signed that one. That was a good one to sign.
Turns out it was unenforceable, so we made it out. Despite our ignorance, we made it out of that one all right.
Thank God.
Yeah, so yeah, I just picked the name Force because I was just, I don't know, Air Force, and then here it is. It's 2019. We're still talking about it.
I always find it odd how you were like a bartender for so long. So when I think like Force strategy game, I don't think like, oh yeah, bartending.
No, I don't think that either. It's weird, you know, because I would say I definitely like struggle with like social interactions. I don't know if I'm like on the spectrum or something. I don't even. I've never been diagnosed. I would assume the answer is no. I think I'm just socially uncomfortable a lot of times.
Yeah.
But despite that, I really ended up enjoying bartending, at least parts of it. Like, you know, you get some regulars, which is like it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing because regulars are people you get to know, you build a relationship with them and stuff, but then it's also regulars who are drinking every day. So
yeah.
like it's you're kind of struggling with that as well. Like I know a few people I'd be like, man, I know you got like an hour drive home. I'm probably got to stop drinking here.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's a good thing. I'm not going to pretend that at 22 I was fucking in a position to help anyone or guide anyone's life, especially since most of the people who were drinking all day were all much older than I was. But yeah, bartending is something people probably wouldn't peg me for. And it's also funny because I think that if you asked like the people in my high school, like, do you think Force will be a popular YouTuber one day? Or YouTube wasn't a thing, but if you asked them if they thought I'd be like an online entertaining personality, that'd be a resounding no from basically everyone who knew me in high school.
Yeah.
I struggle with, I've got a few close friends from high school. Kids I grew up with playing Magic and hacky sack and skateboarding and like love them to death. But outside of that, man, I have a hard time like building relationships. I don't know what it is. It just kind of, so tangent, but yeah, bartending doesn't seem like a natural fit, but it ended up being all right for me.
I think there's a lot of people like that in just YouTube and streaming. Like obviously there's the like socially like crazy people like, woo, we're out there doing whatever. But I think most people are kind of that introverted style of person. Because you obviously grow up just playing games, being on the computer. And there's a reason for that, because you don't want to go out and socialize.
Yeah,
but
that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that we dislike socializing. Like, I disliked socializing because I didn't have a lot of people I wanted to socialize with. But now that you have, like, so many YouTube friends and Twitch friends and, like, all these people, it's like, I don't mind going to, like, a party where they're all there and, you know, and you kind of talk to them and catch up and, like, hey, it's that guy and whatever. So I get it now. Right. But back then it was like, you know, I don't want to hang out with these high school kids or, like, these college people I'm with or, you know, any of that type of stuff.
I think the thing I've realized over time about myself too is that when I find someone that like I connect with, be it in a hobby like gaming or just on a personal level, I feel like I'm a completely different person than if I'm around people who there's just nothing there. It's like hard to find. As time's gone on, it's been easier and easier for me to find because there's a lot of common ground amongst everybody in the world, you know. Usually you can find something, but I definitely think that's a large part of it because I felt for a long time like I don't really jive with these people, whatever group it might be, in my life, like in my high school and college or whatever, in my workspace. but I've definitely kind of, I think I've realized that that's really what it is. It's not so much that I don't like being around people. It's like I just feel so differently when I'm with people who I have a connection with, you know, again, be it like a common game or just interest or personality or whatever, you know?
Yeah. That's, I think that's a big part of it. And then, you know, some people just don't, you know, like someone like Sam, who I'm going to be fishing with here soon. Sam, he's like a quieter guy, but he like connects with everybody. Like he's like a social magnet. Even though he doesn't really, you know, he doesn't talk that much. He's not like a big socialite, but he just kind of draws that to him. Or like Jesse is another example. Jesse's a social
I think he's a great
lighthouse.
example. Yeah, I think
Jesse's
he's a great example of that.
Yeah, I always call him the social lighthouse. Like you'll just be at a convention, and he's just like, like drawing in people from left and right. Like it's just Cox, so it's just Cox. Hey, it's Jesse. Like everybody's pulling over, and then they'll always see me at the side, and like, and you must be Crendor. And I'm like, hey, it's me. Here I am. But I kind of like that.
You can tell by the sloth pants.
Yeah, clearly. Or just any type of sweatpants. Although now I'm wearing shorts because it's hot outside.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely like that as well. But I've gotten better just because I've kind of been thrown in the fire, if you will. Like, you know, you go to all these conventions, you go to all these things, and you're just forced to interact with people. People being like, hey, how's it going? Or just, you know, talking to game devs or talking to other streamers and YouTubers or fans, like whatever it might be. And so you just get better with it. And then I think with age, that gets a lot easier as well. So I got more stories, you know, like, hey, I got my gallbladder out. Hey, I got this thing. Hey. So it's just, you know, you got more interesting stuff rather than like, yeah, I'm in school. Like, oh, whatever.
I got to take economics 101.
Yeah.
What class are you in?
Yeah, I think you just get more interesting as you get older. So that's just part of it too. But
here, I'm gonna 1 second. I'm pouring myself a glass. I'll do some ASMR for you. Here.
Oh, that's good.
A glass of wine.
Look. It's a big ass glass of wine if that's what you're pouring.
Well, yeah.
Poured for like 10 seconds.
Hey, we're fishing, all right? Let me just relax.
Yeah.
It's been a long week.
Well, that's true. Well, so you're a bartender. What's like your favorite drinks?
So I worked at a TGI Fridays. I don't know if those still exist anymore.
Oh yes, the highest quality bartender.
I did work at a lot of corporate places. That's actually probably one regret that I have. At least while I was in that phase of my life, I kind of wished I worked at more like mom and pop places or like privately owned establishments. Yeah. Just like because personally, I much prefer eating. Nowadays, I much prefer eating at places like that than corporate places. So I imagine it would have been also a cool working experience. But so yeah, I just did like it's really just a lot of generic cocktails like Long Island iced teas, rum and cokes. It's really a lot of basic stuff. We had like we had like Fridays branded drinks. Like there was it's called like Electric Lemonade, which was just like vodka, blue curacao or Caracao, I don't even know how that's it. And then like Sprite and stuff. It's like and the Sprite and lemonade. It was like a really simple drink, but I like mudslides, like dessert drinks. Those are really good. It's like vodka, Bailey's, Kahlua, and ice cream, and basically it's a nice little slime martinis.
I know you like ciders.
Yeah, hard ciders for like beer stuff. It's actually funny too that I just kind of recently started trying wine, and it's not. I probably sound like an alcoholic, but I actually I didn't start really drinking anything at all until I was probably 24 or 25, and then even from that point, it was usually maybe like one beer a week. If I'm like out to dinner with Kate or with family, we're doing like a social thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But
wait, so you were bartending, but you didn't even drink?
No, I went to a total of 2 parties in high school, and I kind of hated them because, again, like I was just kind of uncomfortable. I was still I don't think I got very comfortable with myself, frankly, until my mid to late 20s, and I think that was a large part of it. So didn't go to parties. I didn't like the atmosphere. I didn't like all the noise. I didn't like all the people. And so I wasn't drinking by myself, so I was I was kind of an asshole in high school about that stuff too. Some people might say I'm an asshole today, but
Yeah.
I remember, I still vividly remember. It's like between my, I don't know, freshman and sophomore year or something. I was like, I'm straight edge. I'm gonna put the X's on my hands, and people don't know I don't drink or do drugs. And
Oh no.
and I remember the start of the next year, I had there was like a few friends of mine. We like listened to punk music, and we thought we were so cool with our straight edge crosses on our hands. And then I remember after summer break coming back, and they were all talking about all the parties they went to that summer. I'm just like, well, fuck you guys. Yeah, it was probably looking back on it, was most likely just due to whatever insecurities with myself. And as time has gone on, I'm so relaxed. Fucking do whatever drugs you, as long as you're not killing yourself. Like maybe avoid heroin or something. But do whatever drugs you want. Like just you live your life. If it's not detrimental to your life, and even if it is, I guess it's your choice. But I'm definitely not judgmental about that stuff like I used to be. So point being, I think that certainly led to me not doing or being interested or drinking much at all until my mid-20s, when I started to just be like, what's the big fucking deal?
Yeah.
Just calm down, Dennis.
That's kind of what I was too. Like even if you watch my old vlogs from like 10 years ago when I was like 20ish, I'd just be like, people drink are idiots, they're dumb. And I like rewatched those like old vlogs like on my stream while I was drinking wine. And I was like, yep, they sure are. So it's just kind of funny how much you change over time too. I'm a big wine person. I love me some wine. Wine and beer mainly are my things.
Didn't like the taste of it for a while, for a long time, but I just kind of started trying stuff, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. I prefer really dry wines, like red wines, or like drier red wines at that, like Cabernets.
Do you do like blends, or do you prefer a single?
I like blends. I mean, I'm pretty much open for trying anything as long as it's like, good. It's not just like sugar water for $5 in a box or something. But yeah, I like Cabernets. I like Malbecs. I like really oaky, kind of like barrely tasting wines. But I like I've been exploring, like I like Pinot Noir now. It's like a fruitier red wine, but still dry. So I like them. But
good.
Beer is another thing. Like I've liked beer, but I noticed a lot of beer gives me like heartburn, or like it kind of upsets my stomach
or whatever. So. I try to avoid drinking more than a couple of beers if I'm out for dinner with my family or whatever, because the next day I'm usually like, my stomach,
Yeah, but for some reason wine doesn't do that. But I also drink wine with like food and stuff. I'm not just like, empty stomach, let's fucking woo. I always drink with food because I don't want to destroy everything about my body.
Right.
And then,
speaking of which, I saw you Crend transformation recently, huh? How's that going for you?
Hitting the gym. Buff door. It's one of those things where it makes it out to be like I'm just like this ripped dude, when really I'm like a normally fit person now.
Sure.
I would say I went from like crippled grandma to buff grandma. But I mean, I've almost been going to the gym for a year.
What kind of routine are you doing? Is it like do you do like a body part a day? Do you do like an upper lower split?
Some days I'll do more like leg stuff, but I still like to do my upper body things whenever I go. So I do like chest press, I do like the lat pull downs, I do some free weight stuff. I do some ab core things like planks and sit-ups and whatever it might be. Some of those like Russian twist things with the ball.
Sure.
So it's once you get going, it just becomes kind of part of what you do. And that's that's the biggest part, just making it a habit. And then you just feel better after you do it. You're just like, wow, I actually feel good. I feel healthy instead of just sitting around doing nothing.
100%. It's such a I think dichotomy is the right word. It's just such a funny situation where you'll be sitting there and you feel like, oh, I don't have the energy to work out, but if you actually go do it, you get back, you're like, boom, for the rest of the day. You're like, it really makes a pretty significant difference.
Yeah.
For about the past year, I've been taking our dog Albie. We live by the water, and I've been taking him to run on the beach. It's been amazing. Like I'll try to get up kind of early, like 6 or 7 a.m., and we'll go down. We're not far from it, and it's great because it's his exercise for the day. I'll just let him off leash, and he just books it, just running back and forth, and then he's wiped out for the rest of the day. And then I feel great because I got out there and got some exercise. So yeah. I haven't really gone back to hitting the weights, but I'd like to. I did that a lot between like 17 and 22, 23. I used to go to the gym all the time, but then YouTube happened, and yeah, I just really haven't been back into it.
Yeah,
seriously. So I'd like to do it again.
Just do it.
Yeah, totally. No, absolutely. I think part of what held me back was I ended up starting to have some shoulder issues.
Oh yeah.
I broke my collarbone when I was a kid, and I think I started just pressing enough weight that it started to agitate it. I remember taking a break then, and then just kind of back. So I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
it'll be good. Won't hurt myself. But
yeah, that's the best thing. So let's take a left turn here and talk about how you started playing video games.
All right. Yeah.
So what's like the first ever console or PC thing you played?
I'm pretty sure that my dad had an Atari that he gave me when I was real young, and I remember playing. It's like that Galaxy shooting game or whatever, and Space Invaders maybe it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing a few games with that, and then it was still, I was young enough, so it wasn't like a huge hobby of mine. But then I think my parents gave me a Game Boy, and then I eventually got like a Super Nintendo. I think I got the PlayStation 1, and then an Xbox 360. And I kind of worked my way up through the consoles playing a bunch of different games. Some of my favorite games, two of my good friends had the N64, so I played both the Zeldas there. The Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, loved those. Remember really loving Metal Gear Solid as a kid, but I didn't really get much into PC gaming, interestingly enough, until WoW, just because we didn't have a great PC at our house, and my parents really didn't. Our PC was like right on the first floor, kind of in the middle of everything, so they didn't want me sitting down there for long enough to really do anything.
Yeah.
You're not giving me enough time to accomplish stuff, Mom and Dad. Come on, I gotta. But I just vicariously through my friends, like I so much of my time I'd go over my friends and we just kind of take turns playing on their computers, like the Warcraft 1 and 2 and Diablo 1 and 2, StarCraft. Like I would spend days at a time, just sleep over several days in a row, hanging out at my friends during the summer breaks, and we just basically play StarCraft the whole time, or Diablo 2 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Playing some Magic in between there, and doing some stuff outside and whatnot. But so yeah, I kind of started off just basically majorly console gaming, and then when I left for college, it was 2004, I got a laptop for school, and that was like the exact time that WoW came out. And basically since then I'm pretty much a PC elitist, because I just, with the exception of the exclusives that aren't playable here, I play everything on the computer now. Just vastly prefer it. But
so when did you get into WoW? Like when was did you play Warcraft 3 first, or was WoW your first Warcraft thing?
No, yeah, Warcraft 3, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, when spending time with my friends who had those games. And I got super fond memories of all of them. I also played quite a bit of MMOs that way as well. Asheron's Call and a little bit of EverQuest before that. But with WoW, so I got my laptop for school. I went away, and we were there. There was like a week. You just go there a week early before classes start. And I remember going across the hall. In our dorm rooms, across the hall, everyone left their doors open. I walked in this kid's room, and I saw him playing an undead mage who was in Tristfall Glades, And I was just like, what the fuck is this? This game looks really good. And then he told me, he's like, it's Warcraft. I'm like, it's Warcraft? I was like, my brain was just, I'm like, so wait, it's like Warcraft 3, but you control a single unit? He's like, yeah, basically. I'm like, oh my God. And he let me play for a while, and I just lost my mind. I called both my good friends immediately. I was like, guys, got to get this game as soon as it comes out. And we were pretty much there on launch day. We rolled alliance characters. I started off as a rogue, and then my two good friends were a mage and a warlock. And I think I got to the Jasper Load Mine. Is that the right one? What's the one? No, it was just Fargo Deep, actually. I didn't get too far. I got to the Fargo Deep Mine on my rogue, and I was like, we need a fucking healer. So then I rolled a priest, and I leveled that up with them. And that was my main initially, until I got to endgame WoW, and I realized that all of the tanks at our guild sucked. So I was like, I'm gonna roll a warrior. And that was before we were even doing Molten Core. Everyone was still gearing up in like Strat and Skolo and Blackrock Spire. So I powered my warrior up to max level and started gearing up, and then I was the off tank for a guild all the way up till max 40. It's basically did a lot of playing WoW that like year and a half, 2 years or whatever.
That was when I think you said that was when you were in school, right?
Yeah, it was literally the first semester of my schooling, because it came out August or September?
Yeah.
Of 2004. So yeah, that was my first semester of school, and classes went
November,
fine for that first. Oh, was it November?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes that makes a lot more sense, because I remember the classes actually going well.
Yeah. That was all downhill.
Then I started missing some classes, so it took a lot of time.
So when did you stop playing WoW? Was it after vanilla, or did you just keep playing? Were you one of those people where you just every new expansion you come back?
So I was pretty much obsessively playing up till the end of Wrath King. And I know it's kind of interesting, because it seems like for a lot of people, it's a similar story. Like, a lot of people tailed off. I mean, that's when the player count started to drop. A lot of people tailed off after Wrath, or around the end of Wrath. And I know, like, when people talk about that, they're like, oh, well, it's because Blizzard made this, that, and this decision, and they changed the game, and I didn't like it for these reasons. I was just realizing, like, I'm playing this game way too fucking much. Like, it's not healthy. It wasn't. The amount that I was playing was not good for the rest of my life.
Right.
Let's just put it that way. And I kind of just reached a point where, whatever, Blizzard's decisions aside, from my life, I need a break from this.
Mm.
And that's when I say that I stopped playing WoW. Now, I've still come back for every expansion, and I've played every expansion, but it's always really fleeting. It's like, I come for the expansion launch, I'll get to max level, I'll gear up in some dungeons, I'll start trying the raid, and then I'm pretty much done at that point. And that's basically been the case for every expansion post Wrath of the Lich King. But in that, like, 5-year span, it was WoW minimum 40 hours a week. I think in many cases it might be closer to 80, to be honest.
Wow,
I'm not sure. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah, I was lucky where I was in high school, so I still didn't really have to do much.
Sure.
It's just high school homework, which is like, whatever. But that's all right. So when did you kind of, like, when you got into bartending and stuff, did you still play games, or did you, like, take a break from playing games, like, for that period?
No, I was still playing WoW at that point, because I don't remember what year Wrath came out. Was it 2010 or 2009 or 2011?
I think it was 2010.
2010? Okay,
yeah.
So that's that's like 5-6 years after launch. So that sounds about right. So I would have been 22 or 23 then, and yeah, there was a point where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. It's taken up way too much of my time. It's not good. I'm not doing enough like other things that I want to be doing with my life.
It was 2008. Oh my god.
Wow, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so it was only
end
4
of 2008.
Not even really. Oh, the end? Okay, so it was basically 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would have been like 22 still.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I more or less like quit WoW. I stopped playing seriously. And I'm trying to think. I think I started playing actually a bunch of Xbox games at that point. I remember playing like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I remember playing some Halo game. I remember playing some Splinter Cell games. First Red Dead, I remember playing in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically between that and then StarCraft 2 coming out, that's kind of when I started to really come back to playing a lot of games. Obviously with starting my YouTube channel, it made sense because I could play games for what I was making money for. So, but there was a period in there where I was still playing video games, but not like ridiculous amounts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was an hour a day instead of like 4 to 8 hours a day. Basically. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's always been a big hobby, and it's also funny. I think about this starting to get to the point where it's been so long since I've played video games and not had to think about content.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think back and like remember how it was just a different experience playing video games before ever having the thought in my head that I might need or want to make a video playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that ever happens to you while making videos or playing games, but I definitely recall just the experience being a bit different when I didn't ever think like, oh, should I be recording this? Should I record my audio too? Do I want this to be highlight? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's no, I definitely get that quite a bit where it's like, yeah, I could be streaming this. I could be making a video out of this. I could be, like so many different things where it's like, I could do this because it's like, you can always stream or make a video. Like there's never an off time. So you kind of just get used to being like, you know what? No, I'm playing this for fun. Or like, all right, I'm going to play this game for like, live stream or videos at this time. And then I'll, be done with it. Like you kind of just got to make your own like schedule.
It's just different. Yeah, it's just different because sometimes if I want to sit down and play a game am I wasting time? Should I be streaming this or at least recording it? It's just it's interesting. But
yeah,
what did you ask? Oh, you were just asking if I played games.
I was just asking about it. So I think it's a good time to ask. Get into modern classic WoW. So what have you? So you've been playing classic WoW. Obviously, we're on the beta right now. So what have you been enjoying about it, or what's it made you realize?
It's just really cool because it's quite clearly a different. It's a different game. Like it is a different game than what retail is, and the interesting thing about it is you can clearly see how and why Blizzard like made a lot of the decisions they made over the years with like quality of life features and so here's a great example. Right now, one of the things I'm absolutely while leveling up characters is that it takes a long time to kill enemies. They're really dangerous because they can kill you pretty quickly. They've got a lot of health. And all those things combined has been incentivizing players to work together, right? Mm-hmm. Like the general leveling content is so challenging that people are coming together kind of by necessity. And obviously, modern WoW is not like that in time, especially in these older zones, like these lower level zones. It's an absolute cakewalk. But it makes sense because as time goes on, there's fewer and fewer people leveling up. Like right now, when everyone's leveling up together, there's plenty of people to help you with the pain in the ass Hogger quest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after 7 years, when we're several expansions deep, if you're a brand new player making a brand new character and you come across classic Hogger, like you just won't be able to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense why Blizzard has made a lot of decisions that they do, but in a lot of ways it took away like why a lot of people fell in love with this game in the first place, because the social aspect, because things were tough, forcing people to come together and interact together and talk with one another. And the other thing I've talked about when like I've had this conversation, I'm sure you have too, or just like this talk so many times now since Classic came out, but just people working together and communicating kind of like an unprecedented level in compared to what modern WoW is, where you can essentially make a brand new character level to the max level without ever grouping with anybody, without ever having to speak to anyone. And even at max level, you could also get away with never speaking to anyone, and you could still do the dungeons and the raids and PvP because you've got these instant group finders that will just suck you right in, teleport you to where you're going. And you're just not required to talk or work with people.
Yeah.
You know, there's like the highest level stuff. If you're going to be doing the really tough Mythic Plus keys or the raid or whatever, yeah, you're probably going to need to be in a Discord chat and talk with people. But the point is, like, there's a lot of the experience. It almost feels just like WoW can almost feel like just a lobby game in modern. Like you could just sit in a capital city and just be teleported to everything you want to do. Where like Classic feels like this big world to explore, because you have to go out there and you have to work and talk with other people. So I definitely think that's one of the major aspects of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like. I'm assuming you've talked about something similar in some of your videos or streams or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Like just seeing the same people all the time, just leveling up. Or how a big one is that it feels more like you start as just a nobody and you work your way up to being a somebody. And
yeah,
so,
but you're not even like the hero of the day in Classic WoW. You're just an adventurer got less shitty as time goes on, and you know what I mean? But totally. Yeah, that's really what it is. You're not the center of a story. You're just an adventurer with other adventurers, and with all these difficult challenges, even if part of it is just like the tedium of walking to a dungeon and having to avoid these skull enemies and having to get through other players because there's no flying, so you gotta walk through, fight through them. Like you're building your own story in this game, which I really appreciate. So it's just, and you know, I'm not one of the people who's just gonna shit on modern WoW. Obviously, I don't play it as much as I used to play vanilla. But I think that's more of just like a life thing than it is a game thing. Like I still have fun with modern. I enjoy it when I play it, but it's definitely quite a different gaming experience. It is a very different gaming experience, and I appreciate like what Classic and what vanilla WoW was. I'm stoked that Blizzard is supporting it officially instead of, you know, having to go onto private servers that might get shut down, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And it's like, I wouldn't mind if they, like, even tried to implement some more, like, old school things into modern WoW. Like, kind of dial it back a bit with how kind of, you know, simplified or oversimplified it's become. Just adding a few more, like, RPG-esque elements or, like, MMO elements. Like, just having people on the same server, I think, is just a big one that would actually make the game more fun.
Totally.
And obviously not everyone's going to want that, but I think it would be for the better in the grand scheme of things. So I hope they do stuff like that, or that they realize how much people enjoy that from playing Classic WoW.
And there's been a lot of interesting talk too that I've seen where it does seem quite clearly like there are kind of different audiences between modern and classic, and you know there's clearly some crossover from old players who want to go back to this experience. But I've seen people bring up the idea of continue modern WoW along the route that you're going for the people who like it, who like the convenience features, who like to log in and hit one button, get queued up for a dungeon, do it in 20 minutes, and then go do something else. But then kind of almost like a branching path in history, like alternate timelines, continue with what classic WoW is as a game. Like I've seen people suggest instead of going to Burning Crusade, for example, of expanding upon classic WoW with the same like gameplay features and elements, but maybe they add a new dungeon into classic or something. I don't know if I love the idea, because there's people who just want like there's something to the original experience and just having it be what it is. But it's kind of a cool idea because, again, they are, in a lot of ways, they're different games. So I guess I don't hate the idea if there was like another dungeon after Nax, but it wasn't an expansion, it wasn't Burning Crusade, it was classic WoW with the class balance and the skill trees and everything that classic WoW is, but more of it. Or more, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? I think it's much more likely that they would just go on to Burning Crusade, if anything. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's been cool seeing like how excited so many people are. I know it won't last forever. I don't think I'm not going to be. I know. At least I'll speak for myself. I doubt I'm going to be playing Classic for 3 straight years or something. But I'm having a really fun time right now, and honestly, that's all that matters to me. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. It's just kind of like I'm having fun. That's what a lot of people are like. Oh, how long is this gonna last? I'm like, dude, as long as it lasts like longer than a couple of weeks, then like I think it's worth it. Even if it only lasts a couple of weeks. Like, how many times do you play a game and it's like, oh, I played that game for like 20 hours. I got my fun, and then I move on to the next game. Like all the single player games. So it's like as long as you get like that amount of time, like that should make it easily worth it.
Yeah, there's definitely some people who see. I've seen comments like, you're not going to be playing in 3 months. I was like, yeah, you might be right. So I had a good 3 months. Like, what's the big freaking deal? You know what I mean?
You're not going to be playing God of War in 3 months.
Exactly. And then they'd be like, well, what's your name? Crendor. It's like, it's a video game. I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it. I'll eventually move on with my life. Like every other video game that I've ever played.
Insane.
People need to stop acting so surprised that people eventually stop playing video games. They act like it's, I don't know, just people, there's some, like ranting now, but it's not, a video game doesn't fail if you eventually stop playing it. I think it's like totally normal. Everyone stops playing video games eventually. It's not because the game became shitty. It's just because you move on, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So. Yeah.
I agree with that. And then it's like on the other side, there's people that are almost like gatekeeping the classic WoW. Like, you guys, idiot retail players coming in and destroying my pure experience. They don't even like the game. They don't even want this thing. It's like, just let everybody be happy. Like, hey, you know what? I was a retail person. I liked it. But now, you know what? I was wrong. I like classic WoW. And it's like, I think it's because they see a lot of people doing it for the money reasons, or they might be like, ooh, classic WoW, getting a lot of viewers, a lot of money. I'm going to hop into that train. So I can get it from that aspect. But at the same time, I think a lot of people were just genuinely wrong about what they thought classic WoW was. And now that they've played it again, they're like, wow, like this is actually a really fun game. Like, I've played way too much of classic WoW. It's been a problem. And I'm not even going to get to keep these characters, but I don't even care.
So it's been fun, and I'm so excited for this August when like everyone's gonna be playing, level up, and do dungeons with our friends and stuff. I'm excited. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. Well, I think we're closing in on the hour. I know it's getting late for you. It's almost your bedtime here at 7 p.m.
It's almost a bedtime. I gotta go get dinner and I gotta get stuff.
Old man force. But that was fun. We had a good talk.
Yeah, dude, good catching up with you. Thanks for having me on the show. We've been trying to coordinate this for probably over a year, so I'm glad we finally.
It just took classic WoW to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Classic WoW, bringing people together.
So, where can people find you?
You can find me on youtube.com/ForceGamingYT. I think I still don't know, actually. It's just YouTube Force Gaming. I think it's /ForceGamingYT. And as of starting tomorrow, if I am live streaming, you can catch me on twitch.tv/ForceGaming.
Back to old Twitch.
I'll be back to the old Twitch starting really soon. This might be a world first exclusive for you, Crendor. I don't know if I've really told. I didn't put it on Twitter yet, at least. So.
Yeah, this is a world first, dude. Well, I'll probably just upload this today, just because whatever. So it'll probably be up.
All right.
And yeah, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, dude. Good catching up with you. We'll play some games soon. We'll do some WoW adventures at some point.
Yeah, we'll play some WoW soon. Play some games. It'll be a good time. Well, I never know how to end these. So, see ya.